no matter what your issue or what it is that you are particularly interested in, that we all agreed that we needed to be able to fight for media justice, the policies that are changing our ability to talk with one another and get on the air, in order for your own issue to be able to be heard. So we have been very proud of the fact WRFG has actually been in the forefront of this long-standing and now very high emergency battle that's been going on. As you all know, in 2005 it was, right? When a big aggressive move began to go down in which the FCC was going to loosen the ownership rules and allow big corporate media, which already owns much too much, 6 corporations own 80% of everything, was going to loosen those rules and allow that to just gobble us all up and change our whole democracy. WRFG took the lead and began to hold a forum that was just an enormous success. That was packed the house with the FCC commissioners, had it broadcast on WRFG and People TV and satellite radio and all our community-based newspapers, and everyone began to talk about it then because we broadcasted and rebroadcasted and rebroadcasted until the whole community reacted to it and began to act by sending letters to the FCC. They backed down. They backed, the Congress, that is, backed the FCC down. So it was a wonderful example of how community radio station with other micro media, alternative media, acting with the community can actually change and do huge social change. And that's what we have continued to do. From that time forward, we have continued to we initiated a formal quasi-organization called the Southern Media Justice Coalition, in which we then continued to mount issues that were seldom, if ever, really heard on mainstream media. And if they were heard, they were distorted.
Our on-air marathon fundraisers is one of the main ways that WRFG raises funds. But it also, carries out a lot of other purposes as well. Besides, we always want to raise funds, and that's one of the major things we do. But for 2 weeks, we go on air and we talk about the importance of community radio and all that. And for a lot of the people in this room, I think you've helped us in different ways in the past during our marathons. One of the things I wanted to extend and offer to everyone is you're all part of organizations that are grounded in this area in different issues and different communities and everything. And we can develop a mutually beneficial relationship. That's really what this meeting is really all about. As we make pitches and everything, all the different shows for a solid 2 weeks will be trying to convince our listeners to support financially the station. But we need help, to do this. And I wanted to extend an invitation to everyone here and to anyone you can think of to come in and help us pitch, help us to convince our listeners why they need to support community radio, why they need to support WRFG. And to extend the invitation for you to enlighten our listeners about your organizations as well, and any activities you're going to be, carrying out, or what your organization's about, and all that, because it really is important that we have this relationship, with every aspect of the community. Heather talked about our mission, and we're really serious about making sure that our programming and everything, is based on and rests on the foundation of our mission. And everybody here is a part of that mission, So I wanted to extend an invitation to everyone to help us with the marathon and to have the opportunity to talk about your organizations and what's going on and all that. For anybody that doesn't know, WRFG has a wonderful board of directors, and we have 2 paid staff. WRFG really does run through its volunteers, and I also wanted to extend an invitation for you and your organizations and so forth. There's lots of expertise that we can benefit each other with, and you know, as the meeting goes on and everything, I think we can talk more concretely about that. But WRFG really wouldn't be WRFG without its volunteers, and I know you've all helped in many different ways, and we want to make sure that you know, that still is an ongoing process, you know, with WRFG.
I took the opportunity to come up here, take the broadcasting class, get my own show so I could play my own music straight up and down. And of course, be able to promote those that are in the same circumstances I was at that time. In doing that, of course, I had an opportunity to meet many of the individuals that are here in this room. One of them who's in this room has an ancestral spirit by the name of Ivan Dooley. And Ivan, you know, was an individual. You know, he was an individual that I definitely watched his movements, learned his history, you know, as a member of this station. In fact, one of the we'll say, you know, some of the more seasoned individuals here who is here, being that he's been here pretty much since the inception. Maybe off by about a year, I've been told, you know. So he's been here for a very long time. And, you know, I used to see the dedication that he would have, and also knowing his position, I started to recognize that, of course, in his waning years, you know, some of the responsibilities that he had, it was hard for him to kind of take care of them. You know, he was getting a little bit slower. It was kind of hard for him to make it in here as regularly as possible. So one day I'm in the studio, and after my show was over, I think it was the maintenance log that we need to sign after we do our program. And I noticed that and a couple other things were not there like they normally are on time. And so I turned to one of the other volunteers who was here and was saying, you know, I'm starting to notice a lot of the things that Ivan would normally have to do, he's not, you know, able to get around to it. And I think, you know, those of us that were in that room at that time, I expressed to him, you know, we need to really start to take responsibility, you know, more for this station, you know, and not always leave stuff up to other individuals, even if they're just the authorities so-called over that position. Well, about 5 minutes later, Juanit Shabazz walked in and said that Ivan had passed away. Okay, so it was like, for me, it was like a serious revelation to be able to understand the importance of that. I look at this station as almost like Ivan to the business and activist community in Atlanta, being that you need to learn to give flowers to people while they're still here. You know, you don't want to necessarily always put them there on the headstone. And so many times people are always thinking WRFG's on the verge of, you know, in essence falling to the wayside. Like when the tower happened, you know, you hear a lot of talk in the street like, is WRFG going to make it, and this, that, and the fourth. And those of us that are here know, of course we're going to make it, you know. But I think it's our job to make sure that we convey that to the people out in the streets. As an underwriting sales rep, you know, I really understand the importance of WRFG to a lot of these local businesses, you know, that have to deal with, you know, the Edgewood shopping centers to show up, you know, and kill the mom and pop stores and all the other organizations that are now, their message is being co-opted, you know, by presidential candidates who never talked about it before 2008. All that being said, we're really taking a strong effort on making sure that we push underwriting this year and get people to really support this station financially, you know, so that way in turn we can support them by pushing their message, whether it be through their local business, whether it be through their organization, whatever it may be. We've actually done a campaign for the next 6 months to really reduce the rates. I mean, to really a rate that is, I mean, it's almost a joke to say the least, but you know, we understand the current circumstances of the economy, of everything else that's going on. So we want to make sure that everybody is aware of these, because you all here are, in essence, potential underwriters, whether it be directly through being a sales rep or just making sure that if you know about organizations, if you know about companies, whoever they may be, that you're able to get in contact with us. And that can be done through me, through Heather, Abdul, as well as even through Joni.